just want to start out here with introducing our team. And you'll see here is the team of, there were 14 here. We had one other who was not in this picture because he came a day later than us. So on the all the way to the left, I can use my arrows here. This cutout lady here is Dee Snyder, and Dee Dee is the wife of the man behind her is right here, excuse me, that's Dr. Dan Snyder. And Dan is a hospitalist with Lakeland Hospital, and he was a missionary in Haiti from 1996 for, I want to say it was 14 years before he returned back to the States, and now he leads teams for short-term trips over there now. The people there, can't see my arrow, here we go. This is Jennifer Emerson and her husband Sam Emerson right here in the back row. Sam is another hospitalist at Lakeland with our Southwestern Medical Clinic group, and Jennifer is his wife. And this in front here is Hillary Florin, and Hillary worked at Southwestern Medical Clinic as a receptionist at the front desk. This is Dr. Anne Dudley, who's a pediatrician at Southwestern Medical Clinic. Marquez Carter, who's a nurse at Southwestern Medical Clinic in family practice and internal medicine. And this right here is myself. I'm a physician assistant in family practice. This is my daddy, Al Dudley, and it was really cool. He came on the trip with us. He is a diesel mechanic and kind of a jack of all trades. This is my husband here in the back, who is a small version of my father, and his name is Luke Brown. This is Sally Volts. Sally is a nurse anesthetist that lives on the east side of the state, who we've met on a previous trip and to Haiti at the same area, and she joined us again this time. And then the man to her left, right here, this is Dr. Mike Schutnick, who's a general surgeon, and he also does bariatrics in Niles. And the woman with the white shirt is my mother. There's Mom, Sue Dudley, and she was our acting nurse, too, while we were here. We'll talk about that a little bit. And next to her is Catherine Phillips, and Catherine works in billing at the hospital Lakeland in St. Joe, and she came with us as well. The person not listed or that isn't in the picture here is Ron Baker, who does family practice medicine at Southwestern Medical Clinic. So we went to Dessalines, Haiti, May 9th through the 16th, and people ask me all the time, where is Haiti? And so I made a picture, put a picture in here so you can see how if you come off the tip of Florida, we have Cuba, and then it's the same island where the Dominican Republic is, because a lot of people know where the Dominican Republic is. It's just the west part of that island. And so when you blow it down here, we fly into Port-au-Prince, which is the big city. Everyone remembers the earthquake in 2010 that hit most of the country, but Port-au-Prince was where it was hit the hardest. And then it's a 3.5-hour car ride up to Dessalines, which is this area right up here. So when we went on this trip here, there were 3 areas that we intended to focus on. And we'll go into those areas, but the first thing I want to explain is the medical part, that we brought just tons of medicine with us, and we could feel God's hand the whole time. I mean, there were 25 bags that 12 of us who were flying together at one point were checking, and we're doing the math in our head thinking, okay, this is going to be $800-900. Get up to the front, and Luke was our team leader, and as soon as he gets to the front to check all the bags, and we're passing him our passports, and he says to the guy who was checking us in, well, I have to pay for those bags now. And the man says, well, they were already paid for. And Luke says, no, they weren't. And so he turns around, did you pay for them? Do you pay for them? And everybody, no, I didn't pay for them. And he says the same thing to the man, and he said, well, somebody paid for them. And so he turns around, nobody did. And no, and so he's telling this man, we don't want to cheat you out of anything here, but we didn't pay for these. And the man says, well, the baggage label's printed, and so I guess they fly for free. So it was really cool just to see God's hand right from the beginning, where we got, this huge monetary savings, because then later we were able to pour that into patients that we saw at the hospital. So the first area, even there were lots of crossover that we were intending on focusing on, was like a cross-cultural experience. We certainly wanted to show our love for the people there, to learn who they were, but we also wanted to understand more about third world cultures and show them that we are the same, we are all the same children of God, in that we wanted to experience what life is for them too. So we ate in the mornings. We would have a traditional American breakfast, and then we'd pack a lunch and take with us. But in the evenings, we had some ladies that would fix us a Haitian Creole meal here. So this is a picture of the night, I believe, we ate goat. And it was just kind of fun that everybody was able to participate in it and just even experience that part. We went to a church where we had a school associated with it, and this is a picture when we went, and Catherine had someone donate a couple hundred toothbrushes, and we took those too and were able to hand out toothbrushes and toothpaste to every kid at this school. And just notice how different of a school building it looks than those that we have in America. But just experiencing that, there were quite a few people on our team who had never been to a third world country or understood any of this. We went to church with them too, and they all want to take their picture with you, and just seeing that a church service in America, we start to get all antsy if it goes an hour and 15 minutes. Oh, what's that pastor doing, leaving us too long? I think this went on for 2.5 hours, and it was hot. We didn't understand a thing that went on, but it still was just a great time fellowshipping with other brothers and sisters in the Lord, and knowing that we were praising our Father in heaven, and we do that everywhere, all over the world. So there's other pictures of just us in front of the church. Another thing that we had the opportunity to do is go to one of the translators' homes. There was a translator, this man right here, his name is Anne Dudley, and I had met him a few years ago when I was in Haiti, and he was my translator, and at that time he really wanted me to meet his children, and so I went to his home and met his children. Well, this time his mom was in town, and so he kept saying, I want you to meet my mom. And I said, well, can I bring a couple people too with me? And so he was very welcoming and had us all over to see his home. This is his place in the back here. Right back here is where he lives, and then there's a compound of pretty much everyone in his family and friends live all around there. So it was just neat for him to open up his home to us and say, yeah, go ahead and take pictures if you want, and just experience exactly how life was for them. This is a funny picture that I love, because another thing is we even let them play with our hair. I mean, some of the kids had never seen white skin before, so they are just amazed at being able to touch your skin and rub your skin or play with your hair. Anne?
So I'm going to take over now, guys. This is Anne Dudley speaking. This second third of our trip, one of the areas that we wanted to focus on was the medical work. One of the big reasons why we went to Haiti. And this was really great for me because this was my first medical mission, and I was really excited about it. And as you can see here, this is the church that we had a service with the local people, and then a few days later we came back and we moved all the pews out of the way, and we had these tarps set up, and this is where we did our medical treatment and care for the patients. There was 3 of us there working, and you can see we had some makeshift patient beds. This one's covered by a sheet. It was super hot in this area, and there was pretty much no airflow since we had to set up these tarps to give the patients some privacy. But despite all of our sweat, it was really great, and we really had a fun time working there. We also set up a pharmacy. I think you're going to see that in the next picture. Oh, no, these are the cute little baby goats that came in just about every day. They kind of came in and out of the clinic. It was pretty funny. They were also attending the church service when we were there. They actually walked up onto the altar and fell asleep. It was pretty cute. This next slide, you can see this is in the morning before we got started. We had a local pastor. He's actually the pastor for the hospital. He came with us and acted as a translator, and he led us in a devotional every morning, and we were able to share some prayers and some songs. One of the members from our team every morning gave their faith testimony, and we also, like I said, said a prayer just to have a great day. So this is us just kind of sharing in that morning time with them. This is Dr. Emerson. You can see that he's meeting with the patient, He's an internal medicine hospitalist at Lakeland. And I think you're going to see me next. This is me with a little baby. I actually got to see this baby twice. The mom was pretty sure that he was sick and brought him in again with some more medicines that she had from home. But anyway, as you can see, he was pretty healthy. I think she just kind of wanted to come see us. If you see the next slide, this is me with a different baby. This is Shannon here. She's taking care of a woman. Shannon is a family practice physician assistant at our office in Southwestern Medical Clinic. This is Sam's wife, Jen, and she is working in our pharmacy. We actually set up a table in the back of the church, well, actually it's front of the church, it's right on the altar, and we had all of our medications set up, and we were counting them and putting them in little Ziploc bags or old pill bottles, whatever we had, and writing in Haitian Creole the instructions for the patients on how to take the medication. And then either Jen or Dee Dee, Dan's wife, would help try to translate to the patients how to take the medications to make sure that we got the right message across. This was a pretty difficult process with these medications, but we were happy to have them. Here you'll see Shannon's mom, Sue. She's actually not a nurse, but man, I thought she was. She did such a great job. She was doing vitals and kind of triaging the patients, writing down some information. She was taking their blood pressure. She was taking their temperature. Here you can see she had an old-fashioned mercury thermometer. We were taking blood pressures, and then she would send them on to see one of us. She actually learned how to do shots while she was there, too, which is nice. I think here, this is Catherine. She is the internal medicine administrator for the hospital, the hospitalist administrator, and she was really doing a great job for us. She was very important. She kind of floated around the clinic doing a few different tasks. She helped in the pharmacy. She did triage with Sue. She helped with some wound care. She helped do a couple procedures. She was kind of running around doing everything for us. She was very helpful. We couldn't have done it without her. This next slide is really cool. It's a really kind of touching thing. The morning that I gave my testimony, we were out looking at the patient, and I saw this baby that was kind of fussing in the mom's arm, and I could tell that he was pretty little. So I asked my translator to kind of come over there with me and ask her why she brought the baby. And you can see, or you can maybe see on her index finger, there's kind of a purplish swelling, and that's the baby's extra digit was already starting to fall off, which is great. That's what we wanted. But she was really worried about it, and I was able to help her. I tied it off and, kind of explained to her this is a natural process and we don't have to worry about it. It was already, auto-amputating there. But I was able to see her right outside, and it was really quick. It only took me a couple minutes, and then she didn't have to pay to come in and be seen. These people were, coming from a pretty far distance, and we were charging them the equivalent of about $1.50 to come and see us. And it was nice. I was able to see her and save her money and save us some time. So that was a really cool case. One of the other things that we did, we had a couple people that were helping in the hospital. This is Al, Shannon's dad, and Luke was also helping him as well. They were hanging some doors here. They fixed the electricity. They hung some lights in the OR, which was really neat. Here is an example of the old OR light, and we were able to help them hang a new OR light, which was really important because this was donated by some medical team like 3 years ago, and it was kind of sitting in the back room because no one in Haiti knew how to hang it. The Haitians didn't, know how to do it or what the process would include. So with Al and Luke there, they were able to get it up and get it working, and this is a much better fixture for them, so this is going to be really helpful. It just kind of shows that just because, donations are made, they can't always be implemented or used because the Haitians might not even know what it's for. Al and Luke also were able to help the crew, the Haitian crew, the local people, build a house, or at least work on building a house. We made a lot of progress while we were there. This is going to be a home for the pastor that works at the clinic. At the church where we held our clinic. So that was kind of neat. I don't know how they worked in that heat. It was so hot. Here you'll see just kind of an outside view of the hospital. This is actually where that green seat is where the patients sit waiting for the doctor who's behind one of those doors to just get their regular appointments. And then where it says urgencies, that's the ER. That's a look into the ER. They have like 3 beds in there. So that's kind of neat. Here's for the rest of our team. Here's Ron Baker and Dr. Shutnick working on some patients. They're triaging them prior to surgery. A lot of kids were seen, a lot of older adults were seen. They were able to do quite a few procedures. Here they are doing one of their procedures. They were able to help each other, which was really nice. And here they are doing a couple more procedures. You can see Dan there as well. He was helping them. I think that little baby had a hernia. Here is Sally. She is really a neat person. She's a nurse anesthetist, and she worked down in Haiti previously. I think this was her 3rd or 4th time that she'd been there. And she's really a neat lady. She actually knows Haitian Creole pretty well, and she was able to use that to her benefit to really connect with the local nurses and the staff at the hospital. When they see her, they're so excited. You know, they say, "Sally's here," you know. They know that something great's going to happen because she's able to help them with all of their pretty archaic equipment that you can see here. My husband is an anesthesiologist, and I think he would be pretty scared if he saw this machine. She's able to help them with the tools that they have and also teach them some new skills and kind of how to work with what medications and equipment that they have. But she's also a great source of faith for them, so that's really nice. Here's some of the team in the hospital, Dr. Shutnick, and then also Hillary and Quez. Hillary and Quez, it was pretty neat. You know, neither of them work in the hospital or in the OR, but they were both able to kind of become surgical assistants. And throughout our time in Haiti, they were helping so much that it was almost as if, you know, they kind of joked, like, man, tomorrow they're going to let us do surgery, because they were really right in there, just jumping in, seeing patients, and kind of joked, oh, well, you know, the old adage, see one, do one, teach one. You know, tomorrow it is going to be you guys, you know, move over Dr. Baker. So that was kind of neat. I think, you know, the whole week we were kind of looking, you know, what's Dr. Dan doing? You know, apparently everyone here in Haiti really thinks that he's a great guy, and we weren't really sure what he was up to half the time. There he is.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
There's Dr. Dan. He is such a great guy. The people in Haiti, when you're walking down the street in Dessalines, you know, they're just yelling Dr. Dan and running up to him and wanting to say hi and tell him a story and, you know, tell him how he's blessed their life. He's really a really interesting guy and a great doctor, and it's really awesome to have, you know, had this opportunity to work with him. He does a lot of great things for them every time that he's there, so it's really neat to be a part of that with him.
So then the final 1/3 of our time we try to dedicate to spiritual growth and development and just sharing God's love with people. And sometimes you can go on these trips and get all focused on nothing but work, but it's so similar in every country, where just your hand and God's hand and love is just as healing as some of the medicine we bring to people. Right here, this is a situation where Catherine had befriended this little boy, and before we left, she gave him a cross that she had brought that fits in your hand, and it just meant a lot to her. And it was very cool because he had been called out for something previously in the week and just felt really bad. And then when he was honored in this way, you could just see that it shined. And I know that this is going to totally change this little boy's life here, just this small gesture that she made and the love that she showed him. This here is a picture of Sam, Dr. Emerson, with a man who he was able to lead to the Lord. And I'm going to just take a minute here and share this because this was so cool. So Sam was born in India, and he was born into a godly family, and that's because there were British missionaries that came back over to India to minister to his great-grandparents. And because of them, they led his great-grandparents to the Lord, and therefore his parents, and he has a strong passion for the Lord. And here he is then, coming from India. He learned of the Lord basically through these English-speaking missionaries, and now he's an English-speaking missionary himself, and he led this gentleman to the Lord. So it's just so awesome to see that happen, and it's exciting too. We celebrate that part just as much as anything else that we see on the trip. We had lots of opportunities to share with people what the Lord's done for us, and just to be bold in sharing the gospel too. I had a situation where I saw a gentleman, and my translator was the hospital pastor, so he did a lot of the spiritual work for me. But there was a man who came in, and it was obvious he had had a stroke. His family didn't know what it was. They thought he fell out of a bed and had hurt himself of some sort, but it was very obvious he had a stroke, and they had carried him in. And I said to my translator, there's not much I can do for him, but I do want to share the gospel with him. And he says, well, I've already tried that. I already shared with him this morning, because in that morning time when we did sing some songs, and while people were being triaged or getting prepared to see one of the providers, the pastor had a time to walk around and just share with people. And so he said, I've done that before with this man, and he's not interested. And I just had such a strong feeling that God wanted me to share with him too. And I said, even if he isn't, do you mind just translating what I'm going to say? And of course he didn't mind. But so I just shared what was on my heart for, probably 10 solid minutes. I just went on about how there wasn't much I could do for him here on earth, but there was someone in heaven that could assure him that he would run again, and just talking about Jesus Christ and what he's done for us, and how we can have eternal life that's pain-free someday by just having him as our Savior and living our lives for him. And it was just really cool, because he said, I want to know this Jesus that you know. And it made me cry, and I thought, that's why I'm sharing God's love, not to heal this man while he's here on earth, but for Jesus Christ to heal him for all of eternity. Anne?
So I kind of had a cool experience too. I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to share my faith, with children. That's hard enough in America, but let alone with patients who don't speak the same language as me. But I tried, and I really wanted to be open to it, and God definitely showed me that I could. This was a really cool experience. This little boy came to me with his aunt, and his mom was outside with another child of hers taking care of him, and the aunt said, he has a rock in his ear, and they were pretty sure it was a rock. They knew he had a rock. He's had it for a long time, and I said, well, I think I have a tool. I think I can do that. And it was kind of humorous, because earlier in the week, Dr. Dan had jokingly reached into one of, these old dusty boxes, these kind of big crates that we had full of medical supplies that, were donated or given or collected over the years. And he said, oh, hey, here's my old ear curette. I bet you're going to need this week, this old rusty tool. And I was kind of joking, oh yeah, I forgot to bring some curettes. I might need that, because we use them to clean wax out of kids' ears, because as a pediatrician, we look in kids' ears all the time. And he said, you might need this. And so I kept it. When this little boy came and he said he had a rock in his ear, I kind of looked, and sure enough, he had a lot of wax and a little rock that I could see. And, after flushing out his ear with some water and kind of digging around with the curette, out popped a rock. And the little boy kind of, startled, kind of jumped a little bit. And I asked my translator, I said, he just jumped. I don't think I heard him. Can you ask him what just happened? And I said, maybe he can hear. And she asked him, and he said, yeah, I can hear. And I looked up just then, and out the window, I could see his mom. She was watching us through the window, and she was raising her hands in the air and, kind of talking a lot. And I said, wow. I'm like, what is she saying? Like we got it. Is she happy that we got the rock out? And the translator said she has been to the hospital so many times and spent a lot of money trying to get this rock out of her son's ear because he couldn't hear. And she said, everyone at the hospital kept saying we don't have the right tool. And I thought, wow, what a cool thing that I had this old tool that I could use to get this rock out. And, something that we tried to emphasize throughout the week is we're not doing the healing, God's doing the healing. And this mom, that was one of the things she said. She said, thank you so much. I know that Jesus healed my son, and now my son can hear, and I'm going to go tell everyone. And that was really cool. That was a really neat experience for me. And, I just hugged that little boy, and we were all choked up, and the translator was choked up, and it was a really cool experience.
So just in summary, we had just a wonderful time of fellowship with the Haitian people and growing in our relationships with the Lord, as well as our relationship with each other on our team. Formed some good friendships and bonds, and I'm sure we will be supportive and our bonds will go for a long time. We want to thank everyone who helped donate. You didn't just donate for our plane tickets to get there. That building you saw that the Alan Luke had worked on, that was completely funded by us, by our team, and by people like you who helped out with fundraising. And all of those medicines that we brought, we were able to donate. And we just want to thank you so much for your support financially as well as prayer and while we were gone.
Well, I just wanted to say again, thank you for everyone who supported us on this mission. It was really a great experience, and although this was my first mission trip, I know it's not going to be the last. This is something that I really want to, continue to do, and I'm so blessed to be able to work for Southwestern Medical Clinic and to be backed by the foundation. This is such a really awesome experience, and I'm so happy that we did this and that we'll be able to do it again. So thank you to everyone who helped us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.